We begin with the developing news on the Queensland bushfire emergency. Authorities have confirmed to Sky News that at least 2 homes have been destroyed in the fire at Peregian Beach on the state's Sunshine Coast. We have our reporters in the key locations across southeast Queensland. Anna Rawlings joins us live now from the Queensland Fire and Emergency Headquarters. Anna, what's the latest from authorities?
Good morning, Annalise. Well, we are just waiting to hear the very latest from authorities. At the moment, the acting Premier is in a disaster management meeting with other relevant authorities. There's firefighters in there, as well as Queensland Police and the Bureau of Meteorology. So they will be discussing that unfolding crisis on the northern beaches of the Sunshine Coast, and they will be holding a press conference very shortly. So we'll have all of those details live. Now, of course, the fire that is of most concern to authorities is the one unfolding near Peregian Beach. It has been confirmed that 2 homes have been destroyed and 1 shed. Overnight, there had been reports that up to a dozen homes had been destroyed, but authorities so far are confirming it is 2. Now, their focus today is getting some water bombing aircraft out there. There are reports that a 747 is going out because those smaller aircraft just aren't coping, and they really are trying at this stage to get fire crews to gain back some ground from that fire. We heard from authorities a little earlier about how that effort to extinguish the blaze is going. Take a listen.
We do have significant resources. We've got over 100 crews there, we've got aircraft, water bombing that fire, and we're confident of being able to minimise any impacts, but it is a very difficult fire to access, and we are expecting these southerly winds to increase and freshen. We're potentially going to get gusts of 50 kilometres per hour later on today, so it's still very testing for our firefighters on the ground.
Now, of course, overnight we saw that fire certainly engulf a couple of homes. Around 400 residents had to be urgently evacuated as the fire flared up. It's the sort of fire conditions we have seen certainly almost over the last almost week, where these fires just flare up and then they just spread so quickly because it is just so dry here in southeast Queensland at the moment. There are, of course, other fires burning. There's almost 80 burning across Queensland and almost 60 in northern New South Wales. So certainly very challenging conditions across 2 states today for our firefighters.
And Brendan Smith is at an evacuation centre at Noosa. Brendan, what's it like there?
Well, Annalise, people are coming and going after they were evacuated from their homes overnight. Residents of Peregian Beach received an emergency text message around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon to say leave immediately, and fire officials have just updated that list in case residents have not left as yet. That's Peregian Beach, Peregian Breeze Estate, Wybar and Marcus Beach. Those residents should leave immediately. In terms of residents needing to prepare to leave, that's Wybar Downs, Castaways Beach and Peregian Springs. They should be prepared to leave in a northerly direction, either towards Noosa or Noosaville. There are a number of evacuation centres set up. Where I am here at Noosaville, at the Noosa Leisure Centre, also the Karoi Library, the Multiplex Sports Centre at Maroochydore and the Nambour Showgrounds. Earlier this morning, I spoke to a young mum and her 4-month-old baby who were evacuated from Peregian Beach. They say it was actually so cold in the evacuation centre overnight, they had to sleep in their car. Let's hear what the mother had to say.
We just got asked to leave and it was quite scary. And, yeah, it's just scary knowing, you might not have a home when you come back. And we had to go pretty quickly. Yeah. Do we have a home, and just how sad it is for everybody around, because it's such a beautiful place to live, Peregian Beach. It's beautiful, and it's just so sad and devastating that it's happened.
I'm just seeing some of that aerial vision we've been showing just shows the ferocity of that blaze. Of course, those winds are causing a number of ember fires as well. There was spotting for around 2 kilometres as of last night, that thick black smoke billowing out across the Sunshine Coast. A number of people have, of course, brought their pets here as well. As fire officials said before, in Anna's Cross, winds are likely to pick up to around 50 kilometres an hour, so it doesn't seem like it'll be slowing down anytime soon today here on the Sunshine Coast.
And now to the Gold Coast hinterland. Julia Bradley's at Canungra Showgrounds. Julia, a popular rainforest retreat has come under threat.
That's right, Annalise. Residents in Ballindine on the Queensland-New South Wales border and also in O'Reilly in the Lamington National Park were told to leave immediately last night after dry conditions fuelled that Sarabra blaze. Now, in the firing line was the O'Reilly Rainforest Retreat. Police confirmed that as of 7 p.m. last night, more than 100 people were sheltering at the nearby O'Reilly guest house. That's staff, police as well as guests. They were actually stranded because the blaze had jumped the only road in and out of the retreat. So I did speak to the O'Reilly regional manager a little while ago. He said that evacuation was a precaution and they're likely to be up and running again this afternoon. But those emergency warnings have been downgraded, with residents in those areas told to keep abreast of all the latest warnings. Now, an update from Beachmont and Binnaburra. Residents have started to return home to assess the damage to their properties under police guard, of course. They've been able to check on pets and collect any last-minute medication. But the scenic rim mayor here at the Canungra Showgrounds has warned that the fire threat is far from over. Take a listen.
So we're a long way from standing everyone down, so we will continue to have support resources, but it's a continued message that everyone needs to stay alert. This is the beginning of a fire season, nowhere near the end of it.
So crews have managed to contain that blaze at Stanthorpe and Applethorpe, but an exclusion zone does remain in place, and some residents have then started to return home to their properties in those areas under police guard, of course. Now, further south in New South Wales, we still have a number of watch and acts in place for blazes in Tenterfield, Armidale and Clarence Valley. That Bees Nest blaze in Armidale, it's already torn through more than 65,000 hectares, and firefighters say it will be a little while until that fire is contained. Now, the Bureau of Meteorology, they do say that we are likely to see some strong winds and, of course, those dry conditions only fuelling flames further. But the latest update I have had here at the showgrounds is that fire danger rating is likely to be downgraded sometime on Wednesday, Thursday, before we start to see more favourable conditions towards the end of the week.
Thank you for the update, Julia Bradley from Canungra. We've got Brendan Smith in the Gold Coast, Noosa rather, and an update from the Gold Coast as well. We'll keep right across that emergency situation in Queensland with an update next hour, and we will keep you updated if any more emergency warnings come through.